Are you tired of listening to all those boring podcasts out there? Then try our boring podcasts. Since 2007, Southsider Studios has been bringing you the best in podcast entertainment. You can download all of our fine podcasts on iTunes or on any podcatching services available. Southsider Studios. Excellence in podcasting. Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Hello, Cinesmackteers, and welcome back to your favorite movie fight podcast. This is Cinesmack. I'm Mike, and joining me is Sam Twomey.
Good evening.
Gabriel Rowald.
Hello.
Mark Johnson.
Hey, everybody.
And Tom Haggis.
I'm hungry.
You want to go to White Castle, Tom?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave now. I should be there by 10 a.m.
Yeah. Tom's got the munchies.
Well, let's just go right into the announcement. Here, hold on, I gotta grab my stick and poke the monkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, righteous dudes and excellent babes, welcome to tonight's main event.
It's a good
In
crowd.
the first corner, released in 2004, directed by Danny Liner, starring John Cho, Cal Penn, and Neil Patrick Harris. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. In the second corner, released in 1989, directed by Stephen Herrick, starring Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
All right, guys. Starting off, I have to say I really enjoyed this one. Watching Bill and Ted for the first time in like 10 years, it was fantastic for me anyway. How about you guys? Did you enjoy this one?
Most excellent, my friend.
It was righteous.
It was righteous. All right.
Yeah,
I don't know if I quite had the same warm and fuzzies about Bill and Ted that I thought I'd have.
Really? All right.
Yes.
Well, let's get into it then, shall we? Hey, monkey. There you go. We'll start it off with writing this week, guys. Let's start with Mark.
Wow. I I honestly probably thought about writing more than any other category on this one, and I just kept looking at various plot points in both these movies. Monkey, but Bill and Ted are just kind of these stoner dudes just kind of hanging out, and their sort of call to action is that Carlin shows up in a phone booth and tells them they have to pass their history test because the whole fate of the future in their self-created utopian society depends on it. And Harold and Kumar are inspired to go to White Castle because they have the munchies, and it's both these scripts contrast each other in such drastic ways. It was kind of hard to pick your spots, Oh boy, for me, a lot of the subject matter in Bill and Ted fell flat for me. A lot of the history stuff just didn't resonate well the second time. And I saw this in the theater back in '89. Okay, so I knew some of the jokes, and Fruit Dude was funny when I was 10, but Fruit Dude doesn't fly as much when I'm 32. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just I'm just a cranky old man, and I want these kids to stay off my lawn. But I really kind of thought the jokes in Harold and Kumar were a little bit better. And gosh, I'm all over the place here, but I like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle better.
All right. So that's one for Harold and Kumar. Sam.
Oh, Mark, you're turning into Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace.
Dennis!
Everything about Bill and Ted really hit with me again. I too saw it in the theater, and I have very fond memories of seeing it there, and I haven't seen it for a long time. To me, the overall structure of Bill and Ted is why I'm leaning toward it on the writing side. Harold and Kumar felt that it had kind of a lot of sideways twists and sometimes a roundabout twists. I don't think it was as tight. And I'm going to have to go with Bill and Ted's for sure on writing.
All right, Bill and Ted for Sam. Gabe. Gabe. Oh my God, Gabe's dead.
Hello.
Yep.
Gabe. Are you there, Gabe?
Sorry, I muted my microphone and it wouldn't unmute. I'm here. I'm actually here. Yeah. Interestingly, I felt the exact opposite from Mark. I felt like the writing on Bill and Ted's was more interesting and more compelling. And as I'm watching it, I'm taking notes and I'm writing down all these memorable lines. Like there's so many lines from Bill and Ted that are memorable, and they're simple. They're not anything, like profound, but they're memorable at least. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I could remember a single line from Harold and Kumar, except, you got any chronic, you know where I can get some green, and it's Bill. Now, granted, the historical characters in Bill and Ted's weren't very well fleshed out. They were just kind of caricatures of those figures,
That's what the 80s thought of historical figures.
Yeah. And but they were, they were kind of interesting and funny. And I really enjoyed the writing in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure much better. And actually, my experience was different from Mark's in that revisiting it kind of renewed my appreciation for it. Whereas I felt like the writing in Harold and Kumar was really, was there any writing? I don't know. It seemed really sophomoric to me. I mean, they're both kind of, the premises are really simplistic. And it's amazing that you can go and make an entire movie based on this premise, Mm-hmm. But with Harold and Kumar, it's just like, okay, they're stoners. They're stoners who have the munchies, and that's about it, And then you get to the point where they ride a cheetah, and it's like, okay, they're really running out of ideas here. I mean, really, they're riding a fucking cheetah. Come on, give me a break, And that's where it lost me. At that point, I'm like, I'm not interested anymore because this is. I mean, I can go for outlandish, but that was just kind of dumb. So, if you can't tell, I'm going with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, dudes.
Right on. Mark, are you okay over there? Did you have a stroke? Like, I just heard, hello.
What happened? Yeah, we're...
You all right?
Yeah, the part of the cheetah cracked me up.
Oh, okay. All right. Tom.
Oh, my gosh. No memorable lines in Harold and Kumar. I watched this about 2 weeks ago, and I've been going around the house to the point where my kids are repeating it back to me, but I love praise Jesus and pass the ammo.
Well, okay, he was one of the best characters. I'll give you that. Freak Show.
Absolutely. I thought the writing was really great in both, just because they never tried to be more than they never tried to do more than they were supposed to with the script. They just kind of laid it out there and they laid the jokes in and didn't really try to, be more than it was supposed to. That being said, I kind of wish the Bill and Ted script had gone a little bit more into like the power of music and how these two guys are able to create the utopian society, because they just kind of say it at the beginning, like, oh, don't trust us, they're great, they're really great, trust me, they'll change everything, and we're just supposed to kind of go along for the ride with it. And I kind of wish they had gone into that a little bit more. Maybe we'll get that in a third one, I don't know. But Harold and Kumar, what they did was took a very universal theme, and everybody has had this, where they're just trying to get this one simple task taken care of. All they want to do is go to a White Castle and eat a hamburger. And everybody has done something like that. We're like, I just need to get A done so I can move on to B. And they do it with hilarious effect. And for that, I'd say my vote goes to Harold and Kumar.
All right. Now, would you guys have changed anything in the writing for either movie? Like if you could take one thing out and put it in. I mean, Tom, you just kind of said you wish that they would have said that they were. Probably showed more that they were better at music than what they were, or what they did show. Does anyone else have any opinions on that? Like, what would you have taken out of Harold and Kumar, or what would you put in? I'll take that as a no.
well, I think I don't know. I'm going to talk about this one in the directing side too. It's like there's parts of the pace that threw me for Harold and Kumar, and I wanted to love it. Like there was some parts that I did really enjoy, but I would looked at some of the pacing, and I don't know, there was good performance, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but I would really take a fine line to how long is too long to get there. At least in my view.
Okay.
I think Bill and Ted could have used some more like internal conflict. Like I don't even remember which one. Ted needed to pass his history exam so he didn't have to go to military school,
right,
or whatever. But I never got the sense that he felt any anguish over that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he was just like, dude.
Well,
he said whoa like 4 times.
Yeah. It was Keanu Reeves.
And I didn't expect Bill or Ted to be Brando or anything like that, but I just thought that I could use a little bit more depth to the leads in Bill and Ted.
Okay. Gabe?
Yeah, I think I would have made the historical characters in Bill and Ted more relevant, more integral to the story. They were kind of really set pieces, and I may have actually reduced the number of characters that they figures that they brought back, because at some point in the movie they're just kind of like traveling through time and they're just grabbing everybody they can think of,
right.
And all of a sudden we've got like I don't know how many they ended up with, like 8, 9, 10 different historical figures, and I think they could have gone with fewer and made them more relevant to the story. The way those characters were historically could have applied to the Bill and Ted's present as well.
All right.
I also think the movie needed more of Ted's mom and more jokes about Bill and Ted's mom, like going out to high school or something. I think that would have made it better.
Remember when I asked her to the prom? Shut up.
I wanted more Socrates. I love Socrates.
He's one of the stars.
Yeah.
He's bad.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to acting. We'll start with Tom.
Hey, the acting, I'm going to have to, Bill and Ted just kind of play the one note through the entire movie. And I'm sitting here, and if any of you guys give an acting vote to Keanu Reeves, we're gonna have some problems, because I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Whereas Harold and Kumar, I thought was so great about this, and I probably credit to the directing as well. But the way that the two of them didn't really go over the top, where they were able to recognize the talent around them in the supporting cast, and they were able to play it straight to all of the madness that was happening around them. I mean, Chris Maloney and Fred Willard and Ryan Reynolds and Gary Anthony Williams, who was really awesome on Boston Legal, and then, of course, Neil Patrick Harris. Whereas Bill and Ted's would have been really awesome if they had gotten just a slew of these famous people to, bigger stars to play these people. But I mean, what they get, they got the guy in the bathtub from the Truman Show to play Napoleon. And it's just like, I mean, I was really excited to go back and watch Bill and Ted's, because I was like, oh my God, I bet you there's a ton of people in this that I completely forgot were in it. And I got to the end, I'm like, yeah, there's nobody. So I thought the choice for Harold and Kumar to just kind of lay it low and let the supporting cast drive the story was really, really great. And the supporting cast did it. They did a wonderful job. The best part about Harold Kumar is the supporting cast, I think. So, yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Harold and Kumar.
All right. Mark?
Yeah, really, Tom might have been reading off my notes and what he just said. Keanu Reeves...
I'm sorry. Hang on. Here, you want these back?
I really feel like Keanu Reeves almost outacts Alex Winter, and that's saying something. Okay, I mean, you think Bill is one note. I mean, Ted is he's like .01 on the acting scale, whereas shoot, I can't remember their names. Cho and John Cho and what's his face, Kumar.
Cal Penn.
Cal Penn.
Thank you. Those two I felt had a real chemistry on screen. I mean, Cal was sort of the wacky guy, and John Cho was more the straight guy, and I just really kind of felt their connection and their bond through the screen, and I agree with Tom said about all the supporting actors in Harold and Kumar and Bill and Ted. Yeah, all the historical figures look like they were out of some casting agency. Like they didn't put any time or energy into casting these people. Like, oh, this guy sort of looks like Abe Lincoln, we'll cast him as Abe Lincoln, and this guy sort of looks like Napoleon, we'll cast him as Napoleon. And I mean, seriously, did any of these guys ever go on to do anything else? But I really like George Carlin in Bill and Ted. Like every time he popped up on screen, my face just kind of lit up. He just had this calm, cool presence about him, and every time he left, I was like, no, come back. We need we need you to do more than just guide Bill and Ted. We need you to save this movie. And I could have used more of George Carlin, but overall, I have to give it to Harold and Kumar.
Okay, dokie. Sam.
Well, I think as far as acting goes in Bill and Ted, it's really Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves, George Carlin. Yes, everybody else may not have done things after the fact, but I'll have to say this, Tom and Mark, I totally agree with you that the acting in Harold versus Kumar wins hands down. But one thing that I would like to point out is that, especially for the casting, the big stars, it was a real push to get Bill and Ted's made and distributed even. So they didn't have necessarily that luxury of this dream, not necessarily dream cast. And I'm not making an excuse for Bill and Ted's. I'm just saying that I don't want to downplay some of those performances because yes, they may have been out of stock casting or whatever, but I think in their roles they made them believable enough to win you over and to instantly recognize those roles without a lot of other exposition. So I think they did some good work there. But Harold and Kumar, as Thomas said and Mark alluded to, the supporting cast is just, the whole cast is just awesome. There's so many fun different performances that you get in there. Anthony Anderson, I always love seeing him. He's just, and Fred Willard and Ethan Embry, and the performances were really good. I think it's hands down in the acting category. It has to be Harold and Kumar. But when we get into the directing side, I think the cast realized how good they were and made some things work. I wouldn't necessarily attribute all of their performances to the director, but HK for me.
HK for Sam. All right, Gabe. Gabe.
Hello? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
There's going to be a quiz later, Gabe.
Yes. Was this not... Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Was this not a seminal role for Keanu Reeves? I mean, has he ever truly transcended this role? Has he not basically played, Ted since then? I mean... Yeah, really.
Speed was big.
It was, but was he basically not like Ted in that? Is he not Ted in every role that he plays? Has this guy ever transcended that character? I'm not sure. He isn't that character. The character of Ted was based on Keanu Reeves, I think.
Now, just real quick, Gabe.
Yes.
Did you laugh out loud when you first saw The Matrix when he said, "Whoa"? After
I probably did.
Yeah,
I'm sure I did. Whenever he says it in every movie that he's in, I'm sure in one way or another he's kind of going, "Whoa!" In every
that's
movie.
His tagline. Like that's
really he's like,
calling card.
And I don't understand the appeal of Keanu Reeves at all. I don't get it. I did enjoy the movie, and I thought they were sufficient for the characters that they were playing. In that movie, in Bill and Ted, those guys were perfect for those characters. I'm not sure that there was a lot of acting going on, but they were cast well in those roles. And in Harold and Kumar, the acting is clearly superior. But I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that the acting was great. I mean, I never felt like, wow, these guys are really good. Although I did like the transformation of John Cho's character, of Harold's character. I did kind of like how he transformed from kind of a meek, regimented, kind of rules following, almost OCD kind of character into a more relaxed, like, oh, I'm gonna, and that felt fairly genuine to me. It was maybe kind of predictable that it was going to happen because they were setting it up so strongly, but it was satisfying when it happened. So, and the supporting cast is, like you guys said, is awesome. I didn't even know that was Christopher Maloney until I looked it up.
Same here.
And it's kind of fun to see familiar faces in those supporting roles. So from an acting standpoint, I'm with everybody else on Harold and Kumar.
All right, so Harold and Kumar sweeps it in the acting. Mark, to answer your question, let's see. Al Leong, who played Genghis Khan, has gone on to be in, let's see, any action movie ever made. Like, yeah, he's been in. Let's see, it's coming up. Die
Lethal
Hard,
Weapon for sure.
Lethal Weapon, Scorpion King,
Die Hard.
yeah,
Okay.
Godzilla, The Replacement
Now he doesn't
Killers.
even have his own photo on his IMDb
No,
page.
but Escape from L.A., Double Dragon, yeah, that's an awesome movie. The Shadow, even better. Let's see, The Perfect Weapon, that's actually a good flick. So he's been in a lot, and then the guy who played Socrates, I keep wanting to say Socrates, just like saying, was the head waiter in one of our movies that we already did, which was Scrooged. He was the head waiter guy. Not Dan Shore, Tony Steedman. So,
Oh, really?
yeah,
So that role was about as big as his role in this film, then.
pretty much. Except I enjoyed him a lot more in this one.
I gotcha.
All right, here we go. Let's go on to directing. Good monkey. Let's start with Sam.
Oh, directing, Mr. Danny Liner. As I said earlier, I really wanted to like this film. I like the vibe. I like the characters. I have been known to, imbibe from time to time, so I could really get into a movie like this, and I wanted to really badly. One side note is that Danny Liner, whose first film was Dude, Where's My Car?, which is almost universally panned by most of my colleagues and contemporaries, but I enjoy very much, really added to my disappointment of Harold and Kumar. I recognize even when I saw it in the theaters that great cast, kind of funny premise. Nobody's brought up Neil Patrick Harris, but oh my God, just the revamping of his career through that. And also, I didn't mention this in the acting, but he played an incredibly convincing straight man. Like, he looked like he loved those titties. And I'm sorry I didn't get that in the last segment. But Danny Liner, the dude, he really, really kind of upsets me in some ways in his work. He meanders quite a bit, and then some. I really think the pacing was off in this film. And some of that was the writing, yes, but some of the ways that we kept going around portions of the story. And I understand that some would say maybe, they're high and give you the feeling of, going all around, whatever. Mm-hmm. I just don't buy it. I think the directing falls short in Harold and Kumar, but it's saved by a magnificent cast, and also the fact that it's an R-rated film. Why I think Bill and Ted's is easily better in the directing side. The pulling together of all those parts in kind of a smaller environment. He sets up a very simple story, and he follows that through. You know that they have to do A, and then most of the movie is them doing it, and then the big payoff with the report at the end, and keeps it simple enough Not maybe as complex, but it's something that if you can lose yourself in it, you're along for the ride, and it's a lot of fun. And I think my vote has to go to Bill and Ted, dude.
Right on. Mark?
I agree with Sam and how Harold and Kumar's really kind of a bit uneven, and I kind of think it because of the writing. It's sort of like the set piece followed by the set piece followed by the set piece, and it's just these scenes go from casually funny to kind of awkward to extremely awkward, and then we move on to the next one. And but I feel like the director, and this might have to do more with the editing, but I feel like there was a certain pace to it. It was by no means perfect, but there's sort of an ebb and flow to all the little skits that I liked. And in Bill and Ted, I mean, Stephen Herrick did have to sort of work out a balance with like the whole time travel thing, because that can sometimes get confusing for an audience, and I felt like he deals with that really well. But there's this scene when they're in like medieval times, and Bill and Ted are like fighting each other in the night costumes, and the camera's just sort of sitting there, and they're like misquoting Star Wars, probably because they get sued if they use the actual words, and they're like fighting each other, and Ted falls down the stairs, and the camera just like stands there or just sits there the whole time during this exchange. And it just felt like the most dead moment of film I've seen in a really long time. And I don't know. I guess I put that on the director, because they could have, or maybe even the editor, they could have, shored that up a little bit or cut it out, because it didn't really add anything to the film, and it just kind of bummed me out. So I'm going to go with Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
All right. Gabe?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's, a lot to be said about the directing of either of these two. None of it really stands out as like really stellar. Like, wow, they really took this material and took it over the top. That being said, I think a director makes certain choices in a film. That they're presented with a screenplay, and they go through it, and I don't think that the director necessarily has to do everything as written on the page. And we come back to the cheetah, and I really did not like that part, and it seems so contrived. I think any director worth his salt would go, I don't know, sure, it's a stoner movie, yeah, but. Yeah, they're going to go into the woods and they're going to hear coyotes, and then a cheetah's going to show up, and they're going to ride it, and then, they're going to go 70 miles an hour through the woods on a cheetah. And then that's when the laptop's going to break. The laptop's not going to break during any of the car accidents or hang gliding or any of that stuff, And so I felt like certain choices, weren't made to say, okay, I'm going to put my foot down. We're going to do something else here, Yeah, it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny when they were, smoking with the cheetah. I actually kind of like that. That was kind of funny. They got the cheetah high. That's funny, But as soon as they hopped on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gone. I'm done. And then there was another part. There was another part
I
where
just
they
need to get that straight. So smoking a cheetah out is good, but running cheetah, no way.
Yes.
That's okay. Right.
No, it wasn't just a running cheetah. They were sitting on the cheetah, which would not support the weight of one human being, much less two, and be able to go anywhere near full speed. No.
So time traveling in a phone booth is fine.
Yeah, but see, it was internally. Time traveling in a phone booth was internally consistent with the concept of the movie.
Okay, all right.
It didn't bother me. If it had to be realistic in every sense for me, I wouldn't love movies like Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark or any other great movies. But it was internally consistent. Traveling in a phone booth through time was internally consistent with the concept of Bill and Ted. Whereas everything else that was happening, everything else that was happening in Harold and Kumar was stuff that could really happen.
Right.
It was a little exaggerated, but it could really happen. And if they had gone like over the top with everything, then maybe I could have just rolled with it. But but there was that one moment that stood out to me, And then there was another part in Harold and Kumar that I think was maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just a production timing budget kind of thing, but it also seemed like a directorial thing. They're at the edge of the cliff near the end. They can see the White Castle down at the bottom, and they see the hang glider. And then the cops figure out where they are, and the cops are coming down that lane. And they put together the hang glider. And it's nighttime when they start. And then by the time they get the hang glider together, it's like full sunlight. It's like morning.
I'm so glad you said that. That drove me crazy.
Seriously, it's an Edward movie.
And I'm like, how long is that lane? How long is it taking the cops? They can hear them. How long is it taking them to get down that lane? Like 8 hours?
Thank you.
What's going on here?
I was going to mention
I hated
that.
I saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's really something wrong here. Like if they had made it look kind of like, like early morning or something, but it was like noon all of a sudden, and I was like, okay, this really. So while I don't think the directing in either movie was really all that stellar, I felt there were some just blatant mistakes in Harold and Kumar. So I have to go with Bill and Ted.
All right, Mr. Haggis.
All right. Okay, so this is the first time this has happened in 6 episodes, but I've changed my vote since we started this topic. So,
wow.
I really like Danny Liner. He directed one of my favorite episodes of Arrested Development, which is a really good arena for him and his style. But Gabe is right, and I think after thinking about it, I feel like Herrick did more with less. I mean, if these two scripts were sitting in front of you, and you're saying, which one of these do you want to base your career on? Do you want to put your money on? I really think a lot of people would go with the stoners trying to get burgers over the time-traveling phone booth.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like something out of The Simpsons, the time-traveling pie that I don't remember the Simpsons line from that one. But the fact that Stephen Herrick was able to take that script and turn it around and turn it into a cult movie that, I mean, come on. What are the chances that we were going to be talking about this movie 22 years later? In a setting like this. This movie could have been lost to the dustbin of history for a lot of reasons. I mean, as Sam said earlier about distribution and stuff like that, it may almost never saw the light of day. And the fact that we're sitting here talking about it and that people are publicly talking about making a third one, for crying out loud, it's a credit. It's a credit to him. And I come down to the payoff at the end of each of these movies. Harold and Kumar sitting there eating the burgers is incredibly satisfying. And I had a hamburger within 30 minutes of that movie ending. I could not. I wanted to join in with them. But Bill and Ted's the payoff for the end when they give their report is it's really improbable, and it's almost as bad as the let's put together a hang glider over 8 hours problem. But it's just like how having worked in a high school auditorium, how the hell did they program all those lights and the music cues, and where did they get that map of Europe all of a sudden? And I mean, they just had like everything ready to go for those presentations. That aside, the payoff in Bill and Ted's is just slightly better than Harold and Kumar. So 10 minutes ago, I was going to give it to Harold and Kumar, but now I'm going to give it to Bill and Ted because Gabe made me change my mind.
All right. You're convincing, Gabe.
I didn't say that.
I forced
You're horrible, Gabe.
I sent him threatening emails.
I had ignorant slut written on my paper, and now it's crossed out.
Thank you.
Danny Liner, like you said, has directed an episode of Arrested Development. He also did one of my favorite TV series of all time, which was the live-action Tick with Patrick Warburton. He did an episode of that. Let's see, Gilbert Girls, Sopranos, made one called Balls Out, Gary the Tennis Coach. He did an episode of The Office.
Balls Out is great. It's got Sean William Scott in it.
Is it great?
It's really fun.
All right. I had seen it on Netflix streaming. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. So now that you said it's good, I might have to check it out. He also did an episode of Freaks and Geeks. Let's see. Stephen Herrick has done Mark's favorite movie, 101 Dalmatians. Tom's favorite, Mr. Holland's Opus. The Three Musketeers, The Mighty Ducks. One of the best movies, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And he also did Critters. That was his first film, was Critters. He did a TV movie called Young MacGyver. I don't know how well that went. Let's see. And really, after... Oh, he did Rockstar, Holy Man, Life or something like it. But after Young MacGyver, it kind of... The Chaperone, The Cutting Edge, Fire and Ice.
That's a respectable body of work, though. I mean, pop culture-wise, anyway.
Yeah.
Did you mention Mr. Holland's Opus?
Yes, that was Tom's favorite movie. I mentioned Tom's favorite movie.
Oh,
Mr.
Tom's
Holland's
favorite movie. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, because did that not... wasn't that at least nominated for some Oscars?
Was it? I don't know.
I thought Richard Dreyfuss may have been nominated. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
Let's see. Nominated for Oscar. Yep.
Yeah.
You are correct, sir. Anytime someone says Richard Dreyfuss, I just think of the SNL skit, the Star Wars tryouts, the auditions.
Yeah, those are great.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Kevin Spacey is Walter Matthau.
Fantastic. All right. Well, would you guys choose anyone else different? Like, did you have anyone else in mind that you would like to have seen direct either film? Anyone? Like anything pop into your head? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know, Greg Araki, he's kind of got a weird offbeat style. A lot of people don't necessarily like his movies at all, but for those of you that do know Greg Araki stuff, he might have put a very interesting spin on Harold and Kumar, which hopefully would have been much better than his Smiley Face, which I think was his worst movie ever.
What other films has he done, Sam?
Doom Generation, Nowhere. He directed Mysterious Skin. So they're kind of, and it started with like The Living End and this movie called Totally Fucked Up, which the Doom Generation was kind of like it's part of a apocalypse trilogy, he called it.
Okay.
Out of Southern California, kind of started as a real independent filmmaker. Again, some people like his stuff and it's really out there, and some people really don't.
Okay. Any of you guys have anything else you want to add to that?
I think Michel Gondry would have done a really good job with either one of these. Guy that did Eternal Sunshine. I haven't seen The Green Hornet yet, but both of them kind of require a bit of whimsy that he's done really well with recently. So,
all right, Gabe or Mark?
I think Quentin Tarantino with Harold and Kumar. That would have been awesome. Just think of the situations they would have gotten themselves into if Quentin Tarantino were writing and directing. that could have been cool.
Bloody as hell.
Of course, there would have been like at least a 3-way standoff at the White Castle at the end. Of course, but
right on.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be cool because like everyone would live with Neil Patrick Harris, and he just sort of walks out of the diner at the end. I think that would be awesome.
There's blood all over the
Putting
windows.
on the sunglasses.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's that, let's go to our fourth round overall. Good monkey.
yay.
Here's a banana.
Is it still behaving?
What's that?
Is it still behaving?
It's behaving. Hasn't flung
good.
any poo at me tonight. So
That's good.
anytime you don't get poo flung at you, it's a good night. That's what I used to say when I worked at the bars. Gabe, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, I think based on my comments as far as the writing and directing, I think it's pretty obvious which way I'm going to go. When I watched Bill and Ted, like you guys, I had seen it in the theater when it originally came out, but I was probably old enough to actually remember it. But I, and seeing it again, there were parts that I actually didn't remember, and I found it fairly enjoyable again. It was a movie that I was happy to rewatch, and like I said, there are a number of memorable lines in it. Things that I probably quote without even thinking about it from time to time. And one of my coworkers today said, "Oh, somebody just quoted Bill and Ted today. Who would have guessed?" And so it's the kind of thing that's had a little bit of kind of staying power. Whereas with Harold and Kumar, I enjoyed it. It was a fun, feel good movie, but I'm not sure it's the kind of movie that will stick with me over time in a positive sense. That where I'll have like fond memories of Harold and Kumar. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, but overall, I think Bill and Ted's was more enjoyable for me.
All right, Mark.
Going into rewatching these films, I really thought I was going to view Bill and Ted more favorably than Harold and Kumar, having seen them both before. But a lot of jokes in Bill and Ted just really fell flat for me. And when it came down to the ending, I had a hard time believing that all these historical figures could go from being, total outcasts at a mall to have the skills to, be able to do a proper history presentation in a high school gymnasium in a matter of about 5 minutes. And that was maybe just a little bit too much of the stretch of the imagination for me. It's probably like the cheetah is to Gabe.
He hates that cheetah, man.
He does hate that cheetah.
I don't hate the cheetah. I'm an animal lover.
But I don't know. Bill and Ted just weren't that deep for me, and I'm not. I keep going back to that. They were just way too superficial. I feel like I needed some more depth to those characters that I just didn't have, and I really like Kumar's journey that Gabe talked about in Harold and Kumar. And anytime you could have Neil Patrick Harris doing like 50 on the highway, snorting coke off a stripper's ass, you could have that in a movie. That's a crowning achievement in itself, and that's why I have to go with Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
All right, Tom.
Hey, Gabe, real quick. Kevin Costner versus a cheetah in a cage match. Who would be cheered for?
I think. Well, again, I don't have anything against the cheetah in particular. I think it's the fact that they ride the cheetah that bothered me the most. Okay. So I don't know. It would be a close call. Although from acting ability, I think Kevin Costner would probably win that one.
Wow.
Good call. Cheetahs never win, so.
Oh, man.
You totally said that.
No, I did actually. It came to me while you were talking, but we can edit that out, I believe.
No.
I don't know. Going back and looking at Bill and Ted's, it's funny that they chose a phone booth to travel in, because I always ask myself, where would this phone booth be more out of place, like ancient England or like 2011 San Dimas? Because I think it would make a lot of people stop and wonder, what exactly it was. And Harold and Kumar, I really, really like the movie, and from here on out, whenever I watch it, I'm always going to skip past the toilet scene, the taco toilet scene. That scene almost makes me turn it off every single time. I can't stand it. It's vile and disgusting. And hang on, there's some kids on my lawn. Hey. But I don't know where movies have gone, because yeah. But it kind of rises above that, and I still kind of want to follow Harold and Kumar. And I don't know if any of you guys have done this yet in any of the pairings where you're watching it and you go, oh, you know what movie this would go really well against? But watching Harold and Kumar, The Hangover came to mind. That this series of crazy stuff that happens when people get fucked up, and it's I'm not a huge fan of The Hangover, and so when I watch Harold and Kumar, I get this feeling like, oh man, this is The Hangover could have been like this. The Hangover could have been this good. But when I watch The Hangover, I get this feeling like Ed and Zach and Bradley are constantly like trying to out crazy each other. And going back to the acting, where Harold and Kumar, they just play the straight to all of the madness around them, and it's so much better. And now I'm comparing Harold and Kumar to The Hangover, but obviously I'm going to pick Harold and Kumar overall against Bill and Ted, because it's better.
Now, I was kind of thinking anything Cheech and Chong did would go well against Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of... I had that same problem with watching Major League. I saw Slapshot was on, and I was kind of slapped myself in the forehead. I'm like, oh, that would have been awesome. But we can maybe put Slapshot against Mighty Ducks. Ooh, yeah, that would be one side of the coin versus the other, that's for sure. Sam?
Well, I have to say this episode's been a hell of a lot of fun. Just watching the films, and for the first time, actually talking to a lot of my other friends, and just sometimes random acquaintances, and seeing where they come down on Bill and Ted versus Harold and Kumar, and it's very interesting because people that I think would be one way are not, and then, but a lot of people are attached to both films. The whole time travel thing. When this movie was made, time travel, the big movie was Back to the Future a few years before. And I think originally in the script, they were time traveling in a van, but they thought it'd be too close to a ripoff to Back to the Future. But what it took to get this movie made, and what makes this movie that we are talking about it today, is just the fan reaction and almost the identification in some ways of these underdogs. Again, it's a basic story. It's easy to follow. As Tom brought up, the whole the whole issue of battle shits. It's not necessarily a game changer for me, but yeah, I was kind of uncomfortable to watch, but just like grossly funny in some ways to see these prim ladies doing this. Like it maybe went on a little too far, but battle shits. I mean, just the name alone.
Oh God, stop saying that!
It's absolutely hilarious.
I'm changing my vote.
For Bill and Ted, like just as Gabe said earlier in the podcast, some of the lines that you find yourself quoting or as they happen, even basic gags like when Socrates says, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And to him, it's a real profound meaning. It's a real small joke, but it's really funny. And I also like the way that they really play with using their, missaying their names and whatnot. But when it comes down to it, when it really counts in the report, they, easily, nail it like they knew it the whole time, because it was more important to them. One thing I have to ask, there's one little weird thing. At the end of Bill and Ted's, like everyone in the audience for some reason is eating pudding cups. Like, I don't know if they cut out a scene where they give out free pudding cups.
Holy crap, dude.
Pudding was a sponsor and they thought they didn't get enough when they had it earlier when they were fixing the phone booth or what. But there's some weird shots at the end with people digging on some pudding cups, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, maybe they did cut something out.
I have to say that Bill and Ted, I don't know, I have a warm feeling about it, and it made me so happy and brought some great memories back. And also seeing it so many years later, I just enjoyed the story again, and I think I love San Dimas, so I'm going to have to say it goes to Bill and Ted's.
All right. I have to say, just real quick, it can't get any better than Napoleon bowling. And I love that scene, and I love Napoleon at the water park. For me, that beats anything that Harold and Kumar did. I don't know why. I just love Napoleon. playing
you ditched Napoleon?
Bowling. Yeah, bowling and at the
dick.
water park. Just can't get any better than that. But a close second would have to be Freak Show. And I totally thought that was can't think of his name now. He was in Something About Mary. And he kept...
Brett Favre?
No, yes, Brett Favre.
Yeah.
I thought it was Brett Favre.
Woogie or whatever.
Yeah.
From
who played Woogie?
Chris Elliott.
Elliott, yeah. I thought it was Chris Elliott when I first saw the film a while back. But, yeah. I was really surprised at who was playing it. While the monkey tallies the votes, as we've mentioned a couple times in this episode, or this fight, it has been announced that there may be a Bill and Ted 3. And Keanu Reeves was talking with MTV, and he said, in fact, the original writers, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, were going to try and see if they can write something. Flash forward to the present day, he said that back in, what was it, March? He was joking about it. And he said that, I believe the writers are 6 weeks away from a draft, he said on Monday, April 4th. Back in September, Reeves dished nothing but wacky jokes about what the project might actually look like. A 3D black and white sequel directed by Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and Werner Herzog. But this time around, the 46-year-old actor gave us some meaty clues about the film's potential plot. I know a little bit, but I don't know. The fellas went off and cooked it up, he explained. I don't know what happened when they put the elements together. That said, Reeves went on to describe how the story arc might fit into the overall franchise mythology. When we last got together, part of it was that Bill and Ted were supposed to have written the song that saved the world, and it hasn't happened, he said. So they've now become kind of possessed by trying to do that. So there you go. Maybe that's when they try to figure out they might actually become better musicians. Then there's an element of time, and they have to go back, he added, after trailing off. So
I don't know how Chris Matheson's going to top a Goofy movie. I mean,
a Goofy movie. Yeah,
it's a shame that a Goofy movie predates the best animated feature Oscar, because that's a work of art, and I would like to propose that we do a Goofy movie versus a Godfather 2 or The Godfather 2. So
they are very similar, Tom. Now that you bring that up,
well, and I think it's interesting too that Harold and Kumar, they've already got their next film in the can, and it's coming out Christmas. It's a 3D. A very Harold and Kumar Christmas in 3D. It's already got a release date for the end of this year.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
And
wonder if there's going to have more
that,
battle shits.
Cal Penn actually quit his job working for the White House to film that movie.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to miss him.
Yeah. So we won't get into politics, but I couldn't believe it that both films have this staying power going in totally different directions, but I want to rent. I'm actually got both of the sequels that I haven't seen in a while on my queue because I want to see them.
Bogus Journey and
Bogus Journey, which I haven't seen since in the theater, so
right.
I don't remember hardly anything of it.
I haven't seen Guantanamo Bay. I haven't seen Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay, but
I haven't either.
The Bogus Journey soundtrack is awesome. It's really great.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys real quick, what'd you think of the music for both films? I really disliked Harold and Kumar's music. Is that just me?
The Wilson Phillips part was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, that was funny. But all the other music.
Is that the part where they were singing in the the Jeep or whatever together, the big truck,
the Bronco?
I felt like that was almost kind of a ripoff of Tommy Boy, right? Is it Tommy Boy or Tommy Boy?
Yep.
Where they're both like, oh yeah, you can change it if you want to. I don't care, And then they end up singing. I thought that was kind of a little bit of a ripoff of that.
It's a ripoff, but I think it was really funny just to see them singing that. Just really, really bad music.
I did like it.
Oh, come on! Any of you started singing with it?
I started singing. I'll admit.
Dude, I was kidding. No, I didn't sing with it. You're weird. I set you up,
nerd.
But I was grooving out to the Amy Grant part of it too. So I've got no cool points. So
you can be forgiven for that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I thought the Harold and Kumar soundtrack was just god awful, and I guess I can't really say too much better. Did I just make sense there? I can't say anything better than for Bill and Ted's. Like, I just didn't like any of the music for either film.
Well, Bill and Ted's is so 80s. I mean, it was the product of its time. It wasn't any worse than the really bad song in Major League, so or most of that music. So
yeah.
All right. Well, according to IMDb, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is rated at 6.8. Harold and Kumar is rated at 7.2. And with that, here's your winner.
And the most triumphant winner is Harold and Kumar!
How close was it?
Yeah, that must have been close.
This is really close, guys. 2 points.
Wow.
2 points close. 9-7.
Nice.
It had to be the acting that did it.
Yes, it was the acting.
Battle shits.
Battle shits.
Okay, seriously, if anybody says that again, I'm shutting my computer off. Stop it. It's disgusting.
All right. Well, God. This is the part of the show when we give our recommendations. So let's start with Tom.
My recommendation is the Todd Haynes film from 1998 called Velvet Goldmine. It stars Ewan McGregor, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Christian Bale in his pre-profanity days, I guess you could say. It's kind of an ode to Citizen Kane, but it all takes place in the 1970s glam rock world in England, and it's a really great story. And anybody that likes the glam rock of the 1970s, I'm sure has probably already seen it. But it's a really cool film to see. These three big stars, before they really became bigger stars. I don't know. Does anybody remember what year episode 1 was for Star Wars?
77. Oh yeah, 97.
Well, that's episode 4. You mean episode 4 is the original Star Wars in 77?
No, episode 1.
Episode
Phantom
1
Menace.
would be. Yeah,
Phantom Menace was 97, wasn't it?
So this is actually after that. So Ewan McGregor was actually a pretty big star. The soundtrack is really, really great. I would definitely recommend it. Todd Haynes has gone on to do some other pretty decent stuff, including I'm Not There and Far From Heaven, I believe is the other one.
Okay.
But it's a really kind of it's a part love story, part musical, part whodunit. As Christian Bale tries to solve this mystery about what happened to this rock star. I would definitely say check out Velvet Goldmine.
All right, right on. Sam.
Oh, cool pick, Tom. Mine this week is a film from 2005, and it's called Thumbsucker. Earlier, Gabe was talking about seeing a movie with Keanu Reeves in it where he didn't play the Bill character. And I would say there's always a little bit of the Bill character there, but this movie kind of puts him in a different light. He's in a supporting role. It stars Lou Taylor Pucci, Tilda Swinton, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Keanu Reeves in it is a dentist in it. It's a cute little movie. It's very kind of quirky and offbeat. It's about a teenager basically that still sucks his thumb and how he finds ways to break that addiction by supplementing with other addiction. It's a really offbeat kind of film, but there's some really cool performances, and just check it out. Thumbsucker.
All right, and didn't Keanu play Ted?
He played Ted, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, Theodore,
Logan.
Yeah.
DDS.
Yeah.
Gabe.
I've realized that I don't do enough preparation for this part of the show. I don't think of a recommendation until the last minute, and it always kind of catches me off guard a little bit. But I'm going to go. Yeah, and I was kind of hoping to maybe do something that was a little bit thematic. Some sort of a comedy or some sort of a movie like that might kind of relate to what we're talking about. But because I didn't do the appropriate amount of preparation, I'm actually going to go with the TV series that many of you have probably already seen, but that I really have been impressed with, and I really enjoy a lot. Although it's not really funny at all. I'm gonna have to go with Breaking Bad. It's really one of the best TV shows that I have ever seen. The acting is stellar. The writing is just unbelievable, and the directing is just rock solid. And you just really get into the story. It's kind of an improbable story on many levels about a chemistry teacher with lung cancer who becomes a drug dealer to help support his family after he's gone. Mm-hmm. And that really doesn't sound like something that you'd want to watch. It sounds depressing, right? But it's really compelling, and I really just think it's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. So if anybody out there listening has never watched Breaking Bad, I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
That's a good pick.
Good pick. You're 100%, Gabe. That's amazing show.
All right, Mark.
Gabe, I have to say, there's not a whole week that goes by that I don't think about a scene at the beginning of the series that involves a bathtub and a horrific event. Just the image, I can't get that out of my mind. It's permanently burned onto my brain. So it's a good pick.
Thanks.
Mark, it's your pick.
Okay. I also think of things last minute, and Tom sort of helped me in my pick.
Star Wars. Is it Star Wars again?
It's Star Wars: A New Hope from 1977. No, it's what happens when you get Michel Gondry, You give him $120 million. You give him a script by Seth Rogen. You give him Cameron Diaz, who's actually 40, but she kind of looks 80 in this movie. And you give him Oscar winner Christoph Waltz in a totally eating scenery Ryan Gosling performance. And it's called the Green Hornet. It's a really sort of campy, fun movie with Michel Gondry's kind of charm sprinkled all over it. And it falls into a lot of the pitfalls that sort of like a comic book action adventure movie does. But I watched this movie and I just had a smile on my face the whole time. And it comes out on DVD May 3rd, and I would encourage people to check it out if they're even slightly interested in it.
Right on. I still need to see that. I really wanted to see it in the theater, so I'm looking forward to it. Mine is going to have to be Double Dare. It's from 2004, and it's, described on IMDb, action-packed documentary about the struggle of two stunt women in male-dominated Tinseltown to stay working, stay thin, and stay sane. It's directed by Amanda Michelli. It has Jeannie Epper, who was the original, she was Linda Carter's stunt double in Wonder Woman, and it has Zoe Bell, who was the stunt double on Xena for Lucy Lawless. And it's all about Zoe Bell coming over to America, kind of learning from Jeannie, who is a veteran now of Tinseltown, and she's kind of getting in, and that's when she meets Quentin Tarantino, and the rest is kind of history. Like, she's offered Uma Thurman's stunt double part in Kill Bill. And for me, Zoe Bell is just awesome. I think she is absolutely adorable. She just seems like someone that you could hang around with and dare to jump off things, and she'd just go do it just for the hell of it. But it's really entertaining, and you kind of see what they have to go through as far as trying to get the recognition. Like there's a few moments where they're talking about the stunt awards. I think they're called the Taurus or the Taurons or something like that. Can't remember, but they're talking about how they need to have a female category in those awards, like trying to get recognized for it. So yeah, I'd recommend Double Dare, and it's on Netflix streaming, so it's a little bit easier for those of you who have Netflix. Is there anything you guys would like to tell them where they can follow you? Facebook, Twitter, anything like that, Tom?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Tom Haggis, and we're doing pretty much producing the wedding films right now. So if you want to watch wedding films, you can do so at weddingdayrewind.com.
You can watch mine.
Yeah, Mike's is going to be on there, so it'll probably be a two-parter, a little bit of a cliffhanger. So,
do they do it or not?
Okay. On that note,
sorry,
yeah, that's all I got.
I mean, do they say I do or not?
Oh,
not
okay.
not like
right,
do it,
Thanks.
do it, Tom. Come on, this is a family show, kind of.
All right.
Battleships.
That's it. I warned you.
Sam.
I'm gone.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, and then also if you're interested in finding out more information about the 48-Hour Film Project in Des Moines, you can go to 48hourfilm.com/Des Moines. And you can also check me out every Tuesday night at DesMoinesAmplified.com at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time for Screen Scene.
Right on. Mark.
I am Jeremy Bentham42 on Twitter, and I only mostly retweet stuff about Rebecca Black and Damon Lindelof, so you may not want to follow me.
Gabe.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Gabriel Rowald on Facebook. And eventually I'll have a website, and I'll let you know when that's up.
Right on. We need to get you and Sam a Twitter account.
I have a Twitter account, actually.
I can't find you anymore.
For One Genome Short, but I don't use it. I am not a tweeter like Mark is. Maybe I can come. Maybe Mark, you can give me lessons on how to use Twitter.
Well, and I have a 48 Twitter. I just really choose not to utilize Twitter very much.
I love Twitter. I can't help it.
You know those meth heads in Breaking Bad? It's kind of like that. You start using it, and then that's all you need, basically. You don't need air. You don't need food. You just need Twitter.
Right. Right. You can follow me on Twitter. You can Bullet. You can also follow Cinesmack on Twitter, but that's in my show notes here. We would appreciate it if you guys could leave us any reviews on iTunes or whatever you listen to us on. I noticed we had a few more 5-star reviews left for us on iTunes, so thank you to everyone who has left us a kind review. You can contact us at cinesmack@gmail.com. Keep sending in some recommendations for films. We have a long list, and we want to keep adding to them because actually we really enjoy doing this. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, just search Cinesmack. And you can visit our little part of the webernets at cinesmack.wordpress.com. And next episode, the next fight, you can join us as we destroy the Earth not once, but twice. Armageddon versus Deep Impact. And this is actually kind of what brought Cinesmack together was the discussion of these two films. Like, this was one of the first ones that we picked out. So I'm really looking forward to this. So for Mark, Gabe, Sam, Tom, and myself, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
As a Burger Shack employee for the past 3 years, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that if you're craving White Castle, the burgers here just don't cut it. In fact, just thinking about those tender little White Castle burgers, those little itty-bitty grilled onions that just explode in your mouth like flavor crystals every time you bite into one, just makes me want to burn this motherfucker down. Come on, Boogie, let's burn this motherfucker down! Come on, Boogie, let's burn this motherfucker down! Let's burn it down! Let's burn it! So, you guys maybe should just suck it up and go to White Castle.
This has been a test of the Southsider Studios podcast system. This was only a test. If this were a true lack of entertainment, your head would explode. Go to iTunes and subscribe to our feed. Just search Southsider Studios.